Today I have a new amplifier from NVX in 2022, a new Cardio X Series amplifier Class D amplifiers. The XAD17 will be in this for video. Going to be doing an unbox, review, install, tune it, and get some results at the end. Stay tuned. I get to check out this X Series amplifier today from NVX. Really looking forward to seeing how it does on my system. Get to test it out today, get it installed and reviewed. So NVX X Series line, the XAD17 is this one actually specifically. Checking out the video for about 2 minutes, give you an unboxing real quick first. Looking at this small bass knob first off. Nothing fancy to it, just simple bass knob, nothing big about it. So I'm going to go ahead and get it unboxed and show y'all how it looks, show y'all the dual inputs on it. Really heavy, definitely a heavy amplifier just by feeling it by lifting it up real quick. Really nice design, I like the style of it. A little bit small footprint space for the amount of power, but maybe that's a nice perk for this amplifier to be able to fit in a small space with a big boom. This is the biggest of the X Series line. They also have the XAD 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16, which relate anywhere from 700 watts RMS up to this one, the 13,500 watt RMS. All 1 ohm stable amplifiers. So do not know if this is specifically made to go under 1 ohm, but based off of the manufacturing spec, recommended to stay at a minimum of 1 ohm. And this one has a dual input. Showing you the manual real quick, you can see this is the biggest of their amplifier line, but dual input 0-aught, 4-aught gauge wire that can go into this amplifier. And I'm going to go ahead and get it installed as well. So if you have any questions about this, check out the links in the description. You can see more information about this amplifier as well as any of the amplifier lines NVX offers, including the X Series monoblock amplifiers here. So if you haven't already, a like goes a long way. I'll really appreciate if y'all give me a like. And let's go ahead and pull this amplifier out real quick. This one has a dual 4-aught input gauge wire inputs for the ground and power, as well as it has a dual remote wire connection here. And as you can see, the fans are actually shown here, so that helps keep the amplifier cool with a nice airflow style design. So anyway, let's go ahead and turn it around to the other side and look at all the crossovers offered on this amplifier. So single input RCAs and output on here. I also notice it looks like 10 or 12 gauge single input or output, as I should say, for the minimum 1 ohm impedance speaker outputs. It also has a nice bass knob remote connection, just like any other amplifier, as well as it has a clip meter here. So that's a good perk. I'm going to be using that for when I tune my amplifier. And so that's all it shows. If you all have any questions, reach out with the links in the description for the manual. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and get my ground and power wires installed, as well as the turn-on wire real quick. Alright, so I got the 2 turn-on wire, remote wires in, the power 12 volts connected, and the 2 grounds. So now let me go ahead and go to the other side and get the RCAs and tune the amp. Alright, so now I go ahead and tune the amplifier after I get my RCAs installed. So since there is only a single input, I have a split here from the RCAs that I'll go ahead and just do a single input from a left and a right side. So I got my input in. I'll have to tune my amplifier real quick next. So in order for me to do the actual gain, I'll be doing that by using this little clip sensor here for the frequency I tune it to. Pretty nice little extra perk that this amplifier offers, as well as it shows when it's in protect. Not every amplifier has that, but this one does. I won't be using the bass knob remote, but as I showed you earlier, you can see it. So subsonic, since this is a bass amplifier made for subwoofers, so definitely a Class D amplifier, as I mentioned earlier. Gonna have this, just keep it off for this test. Normally I would have it around half an octave from my box tuning, which since mine's a 4th order, 418s inside. You'd have to see my other videos on the channel if you want to see about my own system. Today's about the amplifier. I would normally have that around 20 hertz for me personally, but I'll keep it off for this test. LPF, I normally put this one right around the 80 to 100 hertz range, just how I've always done it. Never had any problems with it. But for this, I'll go ahead and keep this around the 10, 11 o'clock point just for this test. So let's put it at 12 o'clock, just halfway point for this. So gain I'll do in a second, and bass boost, always keep that off. No need for me to have it on. I don't need to add any additional boost for this test, as well as I want it to be clean signal. And now, let me go ahead and do my first turn on and tune the amplifier. Well, tune the gain. First turn on. Alright, time to tune the gain using the clipping meter. Let me go turn the stereo up real quick. Tuning it to 26 hertz just for this test. There we go. So you saw the clipping light. I used the amplifier to tune it. It's a nice perk for the amplifier there. It's around 2/3. This is a -10 dB tone for this tuning point, just for this video. And to test this amplifier, normally I would do a 0 dB at 40 hertz, but for this one I wanted to test a subsonic 26 hertz. So now that I got my amplifier tuned, let's go ahead and see how it does real world. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and install the speaker inputs real quick, positive and negative. I'm using 12 gauge. This is going to my 418 system. Speaker inputs are a little small. It'd be nice to be at 8 gauge, but this will work for this. It's not a dual positive negative setup as well, but it gets the job done. Time to see how it does on the subs. Alright, so I'm going to be measuring my voltage, my amps, and I'll find out my SPL score on a low frequency just for fun. Let me go turn my vehicle on real quick. Alright, so my vehicle's revved to 2000, so since it's pulling a lot of amps, 400 amp alternator, going to be measuring my voltage and my amperage here at the same time. 26, 27 hertz. Let's see these numbers. Can you come here? So my clamp meter has to hold in place for me to catch the amps here. Turn it off and on. Alright, so I went ahead and finished that test using the clamp meter and the multimeter, and I went ahead and reviewed it real quick, and I got it on my phone, a snapshot of how the numbers were. So the numbers I saw that were highest was 61.2 and right at 112. So what I'm going to do is multiply and divide those numbers. So 61.2 times 1112. So that gave me right at 6,850 watts. And then based on those two numbers, it's going to be around 2 ohm. So definitely a really powerful amp. My gosh, and I'm not even having enough amperage support on just the battery side to support this amplifier, so I had to get the alternator rev. So I had somebody inside revving it while I did it. So now I got to divide those two numbers, 112 divided by 61.2. So that was right at 1.83 ohm. So right under 2 ohm. That's how much power I was running that I clamped on it, which is really a good bit of power ran, and that was at 26 hertz for that test. So anyway, thank you all for watching. Check out the links in the description like I mentioned earlier if you want to see more about all of these new NVX amplifiers here. Thank you all for watching, as well as subscribe if you haven't. I hope I helped y'all today. Learn something new about a new product from NVX. Check out the site that they got to see more details on this amplifier, and stay tuned for more amplifier tests to come. And I'll see you on the next one.